All right, give me a wave. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I know I just saw a couple of you in the power hour too. So we've just been working, which is really, really exciting. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Becky Zheng, and I am a co-founder of the Warrior Movement. Today is a fast start. So every Tuesday we do a fast start training, and what it really is reinforcing the basics. What I love about this business is it is different, but it's not rocket science. Like, it's really not that hard. It's not easy, but it's not hard either, right? So what I would say, it's simple, right? Like, it just takes a different mindset. And so what we love about Tuesdays is the fact that, or Wednesday if you're in Australia or watching this on replay, whatever, is the fact that we really get to go over what's important and what's the foundation for your business. So this is a great call for, especially if you are brand new or you have teams that are, joining and expanding and they're brand new. And even if you've been around, a lot of times, when we hear the basics, we might hear it once and then the second time you hear it and you're like, oh, I actually miss that little detail, So what I love about coming together on a weekly basis is I kind of see this like office hours. So if you want real-time training, and feel free to drop any questions in the chat as well, or use the reaction button and raise your hand if you have a question, because this training is for you. Okay, we want to make sure that we answer all of your questions so you can launch your business successfully, so you can help your team launch your business successfully. And one of the things I always say that I pride ourselves in is the fact that we have really, really good training. This is not just theory. These have literally been proven. We've been in this industry for 15 years and failed a lot. And so what we want is for you to not have to make the same mistakes and literally just do what works. And so that's why we're super excited. So today we have a couple superstars. I wanted to actually have them share a little bit of their story. And the first person I want to bring up is, let me find Angela Ice. There you are. Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So Angela Ice has been involved in business for not too long, right? How long have you been involved in the business, like really doing the business?
My reality is I've been with the company now. It hasn't even been 6 months yet.
Yeah.
It feels like longer, but when I
Right.
sat there and was like, wow, it hasn't even been 6 months. But yeah, almost 6 months.
Yeah. And Angela is currently a manager in the company, and so she'll be walking the PXP stage, and she's qualified for 10 and 2 4 times, right? Just wrapped up 4 times. Now, if you're brand new in the company and you're like, what's 10 and 2? And you haven't gone through our onboarding yet, that's your homework, first of all. I'll go over it in a little bit. So just jot that down, right? Like Becky said, 10 and 2. What is that, right? So put it in your notepad and just, put a bookmark and come back to it. But 10 and 2 is our strategy. It's literally what's going to help you maximize your comp plan. You'll hear us say this a lot. When people come into the business, the first thing they usually ask, well, how do I make my money back, right? How do I make $500, $1,000, right? So the easiest way to tell them, and that we figured out, is if you do 10 and 2, get 10 customers, new customers, and 2 brand partners in a 4-week period, you'll for sure make at least $500. So we want to put money in people's pocket ASAP, right? The faster people do it, the more excited they are, and the more willing they're willing to stay longer and be able to learn new things, right? And invest in that time. And if you do that month after month and you duplicate it in your team, you can actually drive to 6 figures in 6 months. So you'll have an annualized $10,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, so annualized 6-figure income from there. So Angela, you just wrapped up 4 times. Tell us, for those of the people that on the call that don't know you, a little bit about outside of Partner Code, what else do you do?
I work full-time as an assistant store manager of another company. And when I tell you full-time, I work 55, 60 hours a week. So it's a lot. I put a lot of time in there. So if I can just go into my whole little thing, it's funny because the biggest thing that I can say is if you work the plan will work. And to your point, because I work so many hours, the best thing that was told to me when I came on board was, do the 7-day launch. And that I never came from multi-level networking, multi-networking
No
marketing. And
experience.
so I had no experience. I had no idea, but I trusted what was being told to me and what was being shown to me. It was like, we give you all of this, I can't even talk today, all of this equipment to help you to be extremely successful. And at the time it made no sense, but once I got into it and the 7-day launch, everything just kind of fell in. The other part that was very important for me is you have to know your story, because the drops are huge for, we're known for weight loss, but it's the non-scale victories that for me had to become a part, because what caught my attention was about hot flashes. Hot flashes and the belly fat. Those are the two things that were for me. So when I started all of my postings, of course I'm posting from the boards, but I'm also making sure that I hashtag mostly non-scale victories, because that was my story. I had people reaching out to me going, what are you talking about? You don't have to lose weight. And so I said, well, did you read my story? Like that wasn't, that's a part of it, and that's a byproduct. But for me, that wasn't the main reason that I got in. So the one thing that I have to stress is that you have to know your story. And the fact that I do work so many hours, if you don't do the 7-day launch, you're going to struggle a bit, because the pre-scheduling saved my life. I in the beginning I was trying to do my 2-day posts, my 9 and 3, but my hours are so weird. So pre-scheduling was the best thing. I pre-schedule just about everything. I pre-schedule my personal posts. I pre-schedule my business posts. I pre-schedule the drops. And in between my time of life, we're supposed to sandwich in between. I sandwich whenever I can. I sandwich this throughout the day. I'm just consistently sandwiching just to get my sandwich out there. And what I can definitely say is in the 6, that page right there is the most by far important page. And it's for those that have just started. I didn't have this beautiful page set up, but I did have a fantastic person who sat with me and walked me, held my hand, and got me all set up on step 1 through step 5. To know how to get it going. And that's the most important thing that we need to do. You have to get plugged in, because if you're listening to this and hearing us talk about boards and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're a little bit behind the 8 ball. So it's the biggest thing that I can suggest is that you make sure that you get those couple of things going. And
I love that. I know we have a lot of new people. If you have not gone through the onboarding yet, this is what Angela Ice is talking about. So when you first get started, you should have gotten a link to onboard. And it's just this wellness360.community/start. You should have received this from your sponsor. And if you didn't, that's why you're here. So we can get started together. And there's actually 2 options here. And this is really good information for you to know, because who here wants a lot of customers and a lot of brand partners in your team, but you don't want to spend like 2 hours on the phone with them and with every single person and keep on repeating yourself, right? So the system is really going to help you. And we'll have all of this in scripts in our boards, but just so you know, since you're here, right? So this is the link that you send to every single person that have either purchased your product or became a brand partner. And in these options, they can select whether they're a customer or a brand partner. So if they're a customer, it will lead them to our onboarding for to new people with, I'll show you a popularity in a little bit in the boards, but it's that link that I just put in the chat, wellness360.community. So if they selected customer in this link, it will lead them to the drops onboarding process. So there's a video on how to use the drops. There is the whole guide in that pamphlet. So it comes with your box, but a lot of people are, maybe they didn't read it, or they don't, they hear other people talking about the approved food list and they're like, what's the approved food list? So you can tell them, hey, did you put in your information to get through the onboarding with that link I sent you, right? So that, because if you know what information's here, then you can help support your customers. So always direct them back, right? And then there's also 100-page recipes on fat burning food that's going to help them with the process. It also leads them to our community. So this is the one that, and then also ingredients and all that, right? So again, that link is for everybody that has purchased the product, right? So they already became a customer. Okay. Now, if they put in, I'm a brand partner, they signed up for a brand partner, it will lead them to this page that we were showing, which is a brand partner onboarding. I mean, if you scroll down, there's also the customer, because technically brand partners also need to know how to use the products, right? So if you scroll down a little bit, we also have that customer onboarding. This is for a new brand partner. You want to go through the 5 steps. We're not going to go over that today because we went over it last week. And then this is a 7-day launch plan that Ice was mentioning. Adela asked a question. I said, get the scoop. Get the scoop is for prospects. So that's for everybody that's interested in your product but has not purchased the product yet. So that is actually the machine, which I'm going to go over as well. What I'm going over right now is the onboarding for customers and for brand partners. So if you have a customer already, send that /start link. And if you have brand partners, same link, but they just choose different ones. Okay. So this is the one that Ice was mentioning, the 7-day launch. And if you're a little confused about like, what's the sandwich she's talking about? What's 9 and 3? What's pre-scheduling? What is all these things she's talking about? It's all in our 7-day launch plan. And our goal is to help you follow this step, or help your teammates, right? And you and your teammates to follow this 7-day launch and help them towards qualifying for 10 and 2 and putting at least $500 in their pocket. And this is something that everybody is doable. We intentionally made this where it's so simple, where it doesn't require a lot of technical skills. It requires a lot of marketing experience. And then later on, we do have other resources in our boards that teaches you. For example, you might have heard Dr. Pia talking about going viral on Instagram, right? Like, making reels, for example. These are all more advanced. So if you haven't done the 7-day launch and you're not familiar with this yet, and it's not like on the back of your hand, do this first. And even if you've done it before already, make sure you review this, because I remember one thing that you were mentioning too is to constantly referencing this page, right? Because the first time you watch it, you might not catch everything, right?
Right, exactly. And there were certain things that stay with you because it's so simple, and it's duplication, and it's repetition. And so I almost got a little bit comfortable thinking, oh, I've read this already. It can't be too much more. And it was just enough to move you up, but I missed it the first time around. So, I've been at this for almost 6 months, and I'm on this call every Tuesday that I can be, because I continue to learn something that I didn't pick up on before.
Yeah.
It's not just for new people. And that's my take on it. It's never just for new people.
I love that. Thank you. Congratulations on getting 10 and 2 4 times. 2 more times, you're on track for 6 figures. Super proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I love it. And what I really, really I'm excited for is the fact that everything is put in one place, right? So something I highly recommend is, if you've gone through that onboarding, so this is the link, I'm gonna just put it in the chat. Once you do the 5 steps once, bookmark this link, because this is what your brand partner is going to see too. So it's also going to be helpful, right? Let's say if you have a brand partner that is going through this for the first time, and they might be like, oh, I'm having trouble with step 2. And if you're like, what's step 2? I don't even remember what it was because I did onboarding 6 months ago, then that's not going to be helpful, right? So bookmark this link, because then it will help you to be able to onboard your brand partner as well, right? So the first 5 steps is super important. This is before you even talk to a single soul about the business, to just set yourself up, right? So you're ready. And then the 7-day launch will help you with the marketing and the messaging and all of that. We also have important links and resources. So people that are, constantly referencing this, for example, all of our training replays is in a Warrior Movement YouTube channel. All of our business and prospecting facing replays are on the Wellness 360 YouTube channel. We have a media vault that a lot of us contribute, where literally we give you content that you can just save to your phone and post it into your story and make it into a reel. So instead of spending time creating a beautiful graphic, it's already made for you. So you can literally just save that. I see Dr. Pia using it a lot. So make sure you just grab that content, right? Save it onto your phone. This is a Telegram channel. We have our official Warrior Movement website with more resources on, like, if you want to do your presentation, where are the slides? Or these are resources, right? So if you haven't done the first steps in the launch plan yet, go do that first, because it will really help you put in a mindset of like, this is what my brand new people are going to go through, right? And the 7-day launch talks about day one. What are you going to do, right? The sandwich that Ice was talking about is the engagement sandwich, right? So you want to engage with your prospects, so then they will see your posts, right? So when we talk about the pin posts, and there's videos accompany to it, and they're super, super short. So they're not like, 20 minutes long. Like you can literally do this in like probably 30 minutes to an hour per day spent in your business, and it'll help you follow the steps, right? Follow the bouncing ball. You heard what I said. She's super busy, working a lot of hours. How many of you are busy? Right? I think all of us have a lot going on, right, on a daily basis. So, and that's what I love about our system, is because you can literally do it in the nooks and crannies of life and be able to still build a massively successful, duplicatable business. You don't have to be glued to your phone, right, to be able to do all that. I know the 9 and 3 that she talked about is our slenderized transformation posts, right? And these are all literally given to you in our boards, and I'll show you in a little bit as well. Is, we also talk about making a personal post, so you don't become just an advertisement, right, for the drops, like that people are like, you're building your own brand as well. We also talk about inviting new people, like taking the initiative, right? So in the beginning, we're teaching you attraction marketing, but in any business, let's be honest, you do have to reach out, right? Like if you've started your own restaurant, for example, you still have to like go out and tell people, right? Like it's still like the highest conversion. And so we have scripts for that. And that's, in one of the days as well. And then we also, at the end of the 7-day launch, give you kind of like a framework of what your daily methods of operation really should be. And again, this whole thing, like once you get a hang of it, this whole thing should take you like an hour a day. So if you can spend an hour a day, dedicated, focused time, not just scrolling through social media, but actually working your business with these daily tasks, it will guarantee you to, you will be on your way to ultimate, you will achieve 10 and 2, right? And all these, and there's a video that links to like, how does it actually work to make 6 figures in 6 months, right? So all of the things are in this system for you. And one of the things that I think a lot of times, like we, have trouble wrapping our head around is because there's so many things, right? We don't know what to focus on, right? So that's why I really want to emphasize, number 1 is going through your 5 steps. Number 2 is going through the launch checklist. And in the 5 steps in setting up your business, step number 5 is downloading the boards. And board is super, super crucial, because this essentially gives you all the resources that you need, like your marketing tools that you need and the messaging script. So Pastor Larry, I saw in the comment, asked about like, where is it in the script that I should send people when they first get started, right? So all this is labeled in the order. If you follow the launch guide, it will say in the boards, you will find the pin post scripts and what to say, right? And what to respond in the comments, right? Even how to make a color block post. There's a screen share video on this. And then if you go through the launch, 7-day launch, it will also tell you where to go when someone asks you what are the drops? Like, how do I buy it, right? What are the ingredients? Like, all these things are in the messages. It will literally lead you to boards. So if you don't have it downloaded, then you're not going to be able to like link it, right? When you're actually on the 7-day launch. That's why it's important to do the 5 steps and then the 7-day launch, and it will lead everything to the boards. Hope that makes sense. And a lot of moving parts. That's why repetition, right? Repetition is the mother of skill. So keep on coming, keep on immersing yourself, and then you'll be able to, get it all together. And again, like I mentioned in the beginning, the business is it's not hard, but it's also not easy, right? It's easy, it just falls onto your lap, right? But it's very simple. It really is. There's a thought process behind it. And once you understand it, it literally, you can do it on the back of your hand. Like you'll get so good. It will be as simple as like brushing your teeth in the morning or driving to work. And like, you don't really have to think about it much anymore, And so in the message script, just to answer, Larry, your question is once someone gets started, in the, as a customer, we have a whole drops pipeline. When someone's interested, what do you say to them? What do you send to them? And then when they actually bought, so if you scroll down, there's a script that says purchase drops. It actually tells you, click the link here and it'll give you some instructions on how to best use them. So this is the link that I put in the chat initially, where they will put in their information and that will lead to the customer onboarding page that I was showing you with all the instructions on how to use the drops, right? And then if they came in as a brand partner, it's in the make money pipeline sequence, with, you go through the, like what to send them, like, what do they say when they've watched a video, and how do you sell the packages, and then what link to send them. And then after they join, number 7 is where you would send the same thing, right? I'm so excited for you. Let's get you plugged into training. Start here, right? So you'll send them this and then tell them to select brand partner. So then they can go through the 5 steps. And then, those 7-day launch afterwards. So all the scripts are in here specifically for that. And again, when you're going through the 7-day launch sequence, it will refer you back to the boards so you can reference and know what to say to your people. And then we have obviously other assets here as well for you. One of the things that I really want to go over today, because it's been a while since we've covered this, is a lot of people ask, like, so what exactly is the machine, right? Like we talk about this, we use this word a lot of like, automation and machine, and it sounds fancy, but does it really make a big difference in your business, right? And so one of the things that I want to just share, kind of like pull the curtain so then you guys can see, because you can follow the scripts, you can kind of like see what people are going through, but I want all of us to be in a prospect's lens. So imagine all of you, this is your very first time. Maybe you saw someone's post. Maybe someone was wearing ask me about skinny drops pin, and then maybe you saw your friend losing 20 pounds, and you're like, what are the drops? So imagine you are a prospect, right? And this is the flow of like this pipeline flow that's going to happen. And I want to share with you how the machine is really doing a lot of work for you. Okay. So how many of you agree when you're brand new, you might not know all the nitty gritty about the product, right? Like, and even if you've been around, if you're not like super nerdy like my husband, like you might not really care to like read the ingredients and really know, like read the clinical trials and really know every single thing about the product. But you might get questions on it, right? You might have a prospect and someone that's interested to ask you questions. So what do you do in that situation, right? And so this is where the machine comes in, because it makes it so simple for that average person, the brand new person, like what Ice was saying, she had no experience in this industry, right? And she's super busy and she's able to achieve success because she's just followed the system, right? So in the scripts, we teach you when someone asks about the product, what do? We share with them the machine link. So if anybody asks, what's the machine, right? What's the machine link? You'll hear us say this a lot. Send the machine link, the machine link. The machine link is wellness360.community. And essentially it is a supercharged presentation that also does an automated follow-up for you on the back end. Okay. So this is the link that's also in your message script, but think about it from a prospect perspective. If someone asks you about the product and you don't really know much about it, instead of having to really remember an elevator pitch or be nervous about what to say, because some of you are really great communicators, but you have to imagine when you have a big team, there are many people in your team that may not be as confident, right? Maybe they don't have the conviction yet. Maybe they haven't even started on a product and they don't even know if it works for them, right? And maybe they don't have that type of belief yet, right? And so all you have to do is to be the messenger. This is also very quick. If you're busy standing on the grocery line and you only have 30 seconds before the person bounces, you can easily get their phone number and text them a link rather than give them a 10-minute presentation verbally, right? So once they send this link, right, and we're very particular in how we put this together, okay? We want to incentivize people to, because we get it. Sometimes people are like, I don't see my information, right? Like, there are people that are like that, right? So totally understand. So we want to incentivize them. So every month we actually do a drawing in Wellness 360, and you probably have seen it, where we literally pull all the people that have entered their information and we give a free set of drops for free. So this is something that is in the message script. If you follow it, like when people ask you, like, what are the drops, for example, right? You can say, here's a video that explains the body balancing drops, right? And we actually teach you to say, hey, or you can obviously customize this, right? You can say, put Angela Ice sent you, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a 30-day supply for free. Who doesn't like free, right? Like when people say that, you're like, oh, I'll put in my information just for a chance to win, right? So the scripts are already here for you in the boards, but it's sending this machine link. We also say it again up here. Okay. So then, they see it, and if they're hesitant about putting their information, then they'll see, okay, like, well, I might be able to win. And they can always unsubscribe. So it's not that hard to just unsubscribe, right? So that's not a big deal. And then who shared, so their full name, their email, who shared this information with them. Phone number is optional. So we actually do see a lot of people put in their phone number. We don't send any text messages right now, but so they don't have to put it in, but and then they click on get the scoop, click for access, and it goes into this page. And this is super, super, super important because you want to know what this page shows. So if your prospect is asking the question, then you know where to direct them, right? Let me see. I see a question in the chat. Is there a place that we can be notified when someone signs into the machine but have not yet joined? Another capture the funnel, and then another reason sends me a contact. Currently, no. So this system does not notify. Actually, we get notified, but we don't look at it because there's like so many people. So no, and then this is my perspective. Okay, so we don't even look at our own contacts, to be honest, because the goal is not put them into the machine and drop them and forget about them. The goal is you're still conversing with them, right? You share the information with them. And what we teach in our training is you're still building a relationship with them, right? You're still friends with them. Maybe you're not asking them, hey, have you watched a video, or are you ready to buy, or do you have any questions? You're not doing those sort of things because we're doing the marketing and follow up for you on that. However, you're still talking to them about, hey, like, how was church today? Like, how's your son doing, right? Or do you have any summer plans? Like, you're still building that relationship, and you're still marketing on social media, right? With our DMO. So you're still having visibility and marketing. So the idea is when people are constantly getting marketed on the back end about the product, and they're seeing you being a real friend, a real human being, and building that relationship, what we've seen is so many people come back to you and say, okay, Larry, like, I'm ready to purchase this product, or I'm ready to get started, or whatever, right? So that is what we've seen are happening. So I wouldn't get caught up in like who's in a machine, because it's kind of like if someone asked you, what's the product? And you're like, here's a video to explain more. You still don't know if they've watched the video, right? There's no way for you to know if they opened it, or if they watched it halfway, or if they, watched it, but talking to their spouse at the same time and wasn't really paying attention. Like, you really have no idea. right? So it's not, so it doesn't really matter if they know or not, but if you keep following up on the friendship and keep on doing the engagement sandwich, keep on showing up on social media, marketing all the amazing testimonials, they're going to be like, oh, wait, like Larry sent me a link about these skinny drops that he just posted about. I totally forgot to finish watching that video. They're going to automatically go back and do that, right? Rather than having you to like have to follow up every 2 hours to like make sure they watch it. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, so you're not going to get notified, but know that if they have entered their information, they'll get the emails in the background. Okay. One of the things I do want to mention is some people's email will filter this into their spam, so they may never actually see it. Okay, so that's why here we also tell them more details have been sent to your inbox from Wellness 360, check your spam folder. So this might be something that you want to say to your prospect. If you send the link, and keep in mind also, we do have this built into our scripts already. We do ask them, hey, there's a quick video on this. When do you think you'll be able to watch it back? So we do, like in our scripts, it does ask them to give you a time to like let you know if they watched the video, right? So if they didn't get into the machine, they don't have a video to watch, right? So they're going to be like, what video, right? They're not going to know. So that's also like a kind of almost an assumptive close, right? Like you're assuming that they're going to enter their information and they will see this information. It's the first video. First 5 minutes is about the drops. The last 4 minutes is briefly about how they can make money too. So we're also exposing the opportunity on the back end as well. And we also have our Wellness 360 community here where they can see more testimonials. There is a video by Dr. Holly. She's a clinical psychologist that talks about more of like the mental health side of things. There's actual like what this product does, each of the bottles do. And we also have actual ingredient in here. So for those of you that are, getting questions of like, what are the ingredients, right? In the back of your mind, if your prospect is asking what are the ingredients, then you know they haven't seen the machine yet, right? They haven't gone into it. So then you can say, oh, did you click into that link that I sent you earlier? Scroll to the middle, you'll be able to see the ingredient list. So then that brings them back to it, right? And this is a link for your reference. You can bookmark this one too. And again, it's actually also in our boards. I'll show you guys where all these links are for reference. But you don't want to send this directly because then they don't have to put in their email and then they're not going to get any of the marketing emails that we sent. And I'll show you like some of the marketing emails that we sent as well. And you scroll down more, there's testimonials. So there's literal videos of real people losing up to like 130 pounds. I personally know all of these people. In the past 13 years, we've seen a lot of amazing stories. And so they can see more testimonials here and then more experience. This just leads you to Wellness 360. We also have a podcast with Dr. Melissa Hur. So this is an audio only. And there's a clinical trial that she mentions in a video that links towards it. So if you have people that are more, they need more information about the product, they can also access the clinical trial here as well. Jim asked, can you explain how reach ultimate? Well, great question. I'll cover that in a little bit at the end on how to go ultimate and what's PV and so on and so forth. And if you click down a little, if you scroll down a little bit, we also expose them to like our top products, Noni and Renew, and an overview video on actually more about the machine. So if they're like thinking about the business part, they're here. And keep in mind, when people put in their information, they're probably not going to go through the entire website, right? Like some people are just here because you ask them, oh, the first 5 minutes explains the product. They'll probably just watch the first video over here. And it's not long, right? Like, and it's super engaging. Like Dr. Crystal does the whole drops talk, and it's super engaging, really enlightening. So it should be able to capture, but people might be busy, right? Maybe they're opening this link and they're watching for 5 minutes and they didn't have time to go through all of this. So that's why it's important for you to know, because they might come back to you and say, what are the ingredients? And then you can say, because if you know what the machine looks like, then you can say, oh, scroll to the middle of that section, right, in here. And then they'll be able to come back to that link again. And another thing that's really, so I talked about like the marketing emails that we sent, right? So in boards, at the very bottom here, we actually have a folder called machine links. And in parentheses, it says for reference. Okay, and the reason it's for reference is because this is not something, it's for reference for you, and it's not something that you really need to memorize to be able to send it to everybody. Because remember, there's really just two entry points. One is wellness360.community, which is for prospects, and the other one is wellness360.community/start for onboarding, right? For onboarding customers and brand partners. So really just two links that you need to like really know, but you might need to remember for your own reference where things are, right? Because once you enter, we don't want you to keep on entering your email every single time, right? Because once you're in it, your contact's already in it. You're not going to get like double, triple the email, but we also don't want you to keep on entering your email. So what I would suggest is bookmark these links, or if you ever forget, just go back to this folder. Okay, so number one is send to all interested prospect. So this one is the machine link, and then this one is the onboarding link. Number two is the onboarding link. And below it, you will see, okay, drops info. So drops info is the landing page for after you put in your email on the prospecting funnel. And then underneath the send to those who have enrolled or purchased, the drops customer onboarding is the onboarding link. For customers, brand partner is the brand partner onboarding link. Again, just for your reference, right? We also have, if you have someone that is more interested in renew, we also have a renew funnel. And then the renew information contact in here as well. And in here, we actually put in our emails that we send to non-buyers. So this is people that are interested in the product, but maybe have not purchased yet, right? It's good for all of you if you came in through like without this flow, you might want to opt in as well so you can see all the emails that are coming in. But we also have it linked in the boards as well here. So and the reason you see these is because they're dynamic fields. So it wouldn't say, hey, contact name, right? It would say, hey, Pam, like whatever the name that says in here. So these are emails that we send to prospects that opted into that machine link. And at the very end, we actually give them this system, this drops information system link again. So what I was mentioning earlier is, let's say if someone opted in and they didn't have time to finish the video, or they wanted to go back to that page because there's more information. This is the link that will get them to the drops information. It will lead them to this one. So it's the /system link. So every email, it's also leading them back to the main presentation page per se, so that they can get more information. So you can also let them know, like, hey, like at the bottom of your email, click on that system link, and it will lead you back to that page you were on, because you might get questions of like, oh, I lost that page, right? So that's what it says. Now every single email at the end, it will say that. And then you'll also see at every single email at the end, it will say, reach out to the person who shared this with you, and it will include your name. Like, what you remember in the beginning, it will say like who invited you. So it will fill in the person. So let's say if Angela Ice invited me, and I put in, my name is Becky, and this is my email, and Angela Ice invited me. Every email I get at the end of every single email is going to say, reach out to the person who shared this with you, Angela Ice, ask how to get 15% off on your first order. Okay, so there's no way for them to purchase it, but it will relate them back to this link. Back to you, the person that referred them. Okay, so that way there's no confusion. You're not going to lose your prospects. And we get this all the time where people are ready to purchase, right? And maybe they didn't like read the whole email or something. It's very easy for us to go into the system and say, oh, Pam invited this person, so we just connect them. We'll just say, hey, Pam, so-and-so reached out. You should reach out to them. They're ready to purchase. And that happens super, super frequently because they're, in there. They're sent by the machine, Pastor Larry. So once they opt in to this landing page, once you send them this wellness360.community page and they put in their information, the first thing they see is this supercharged presentation page with all the information they need. And then automatically on the background, we send 14 emails actually, plus all the prospecting calls that we do. So we actually do our Wellness Live, Wellness 360 Live. So if you guys are not familiar, for those that are new, when you go to our Wellness 360 Facebook page, every Wednesday we do a Wellness 360 Live with special guests, just different topics on the drops mainly, but more product focused. And every Thursday we do a next level marketing call on the business. These are calls that are prospect facing. So they're open. So they're meant to help you get customers and brand partners. So we actually email through this machine everybody that's opted into it. We send all of them an invitation on this. And then we also send the recording afterwards. So the replay afterwards. And as we're talking about this, I actually want to bring up Pam because she shared with me a really cool story today. Let me add her here. Hey, Pam, can you unmute yourself? Be able to?
Yes. Hi, Becky.
So for those of you who don't know, Pam is seasoned with us. She's been with us for what, like 8 years now?
Close, yes.
Okay, 8 years now. She's a senior officer at a multiple six-figure position. She's won multiple trips with the company, and she's on the Wellness Council with Partner Co. So she literally is the first to know all the products that are coming out with our product. And she's been with us for 8 years, and we built many different ways, right?
Yes, we have.
So tell us about your experience from and you know, she's a retired registered nurse. She's been a nurse manager for 30 plus years, a lot, and got amazing transformation, right? So she's had a really good start in the business because, you know, she's an expert, people trust her, she looks amazing, she got amazing transformation, all that stuff, right? But tell us a little bit about how it was back then building the business versus how it is now, and how different it is, and like just so people can have a perspective.
Perspective for sure. Yes. Well, first, thank you, Becky, for asking me. It is amazing. When we first started, when I first met you, we were going to people's homes, or we were coming to your house, and we were bringing people with us. So we would have to meet them, maybe take them out to eat a meal first, and then bring them to your house, and then wait for it to start and introduce them to all the people. And they were there for about an hour. And then, you know, we kind of wrapped it up. So it took hours. So it could take up to an hour or so for some people to drive to your home. It could take, you know, an hour or so that you're there and then driving back. It was such a long process. And it was an easier transition for someone that was grew up on a typewriter, though. So we did a lot of just putting things on a form and getting information out. But now, oh my gosh, it is crazy different. And it's super simple, way simpler, way less time. And that's why I think people are blowing up with this, 10 and 2, because it could be done so expeditiously now.
Yeah, I love that. So Pam qualified for 10 and 2 7 times already. And we just started this, guys, like in December. So it hasn't even been a full year. So that means she's personally sponsored at least 70 new customers and at least 14 new brand partners. Okay. And personally, and something that I want you to share, you shared with me earlier today about what surprised you about using the machine.
Oh my goodness. So I was one of those people, that was a little hesitant to start using that machine because some of the questions I see in the chat room, how do you know that you're gonna that it's gonna come back to you? But what I'm seeing now is people who are just texting me left and right saying, I'm ready, I'm ready. Even people that were put in a few months ago, they're like, now is the time. And just to wrap up the last 10 and 2, my husband was at an event at the church, and on Juneteenth, we did an event, and then he went back and the guy said, okay, I'm ready for those drops. Where are they? And literally my husband passed them out, and that wrapped up my 10 and 2. It was in the car and he just could hand it right over to him. So, you never know. You're just loving on them on Facebook. You're just loving on them and how are things going? And so I'm actually feel like I'm really developing a better relationship with people. And these are not my friends. They're not my enemies either, but they're like people I don't really know. And they're just getting to know me because I'm just want to know them better. Like, what is it? What are your needs? And, what can I do? So it's a different relationship, but it's a lot of fun now.
That's my favorite part about what this machine does, because it really makes the business human again. It makes it fun again, because let's be honest, like no one wants to come across salesy, right? No one wants to be pestering their friends and constantly asking them, are you ready to buy? Do you have any questions? I mean, there is a skill to proper follow-up, right? Because if you care about someone and it's going to change their life, you do want to follow up. However, one of my favorite things is, especially for the brand new people that maybe are scared to follow up with their friends because they don't want to be annoying, or they don't know what to say, right? That's a huge game changer, because one of the things you mentioned to me earlier when we were speaking on the phone is you said literally people are telling you, oh, I'm coming onto this Wednesday call because I heard Dr. Jody was speaking.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's like I totally forgot to invite them. How did they know? And it's because they're getting these emails on the back end through the machine, right?
Yes. Yeah. They're customers who were, I've sent the information. They started on the drops. And then I ran into them and they're like, check it, following up. And they're like, oh, I hear you have so-and-so on the call. I got to check it out. And I'm looking at them like, how do they know? And I'm like, oh my God, they're in the machine. That's how they know. So yeah, I was shocked. And then in a public setting, someone could say to someone else, you got to get on this call. So-and-so is going to speak and she's talking about this. And I thought about you. And I'm just sitting back looking and listening in my head. It goes back and forth. It's like, it's crazy. I've never done that was not how we started. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I know you just came back from an awesome trip. Tell us, what has Partner Co. able to do for you and your lifestyle?
You're gonna make me cry. So although, yeah, you're right. I had it. I was a department manager. I have a good retirement, but I worked so hard. I never took my kids on vacation ever out of the country as they were growing up. And I made a commitment to them that when I retire, I'm going to spend this money and we are going to travel the world. And then I got hit with with a financial planner that says, well, how long do you plan on living? And I met this amazing company and I thought, well, if I have my health in order, I'm going to live a long time. I'm not spending my money like that. So literally 10 days after retiring, I was praying, asking God to give me the right direction. And I met someone who introduced me to this company to lose the weight, to get better health, and to travel the world with my kids. And so that's what I do. All 10 of us, we go on trips, we plan them. It's so much fun. And now I have grandkids, they're coming too. And yeah, it's just a great way to spend time. I have a business from a cell phone I can do anywhere in the world. So
I
can
that. And for those of you who don't know, like Pam literally pays for her entire family on these vacations, and they're like 5 figures. So
yeah,
so Partner Co. is like for fun money.
And it is.
And I love that. Like, what a great way, right? Like to enjoy your retirement and just spend time and memories and creating memories with your family. Congratulations, Pam. So proud of you.
Thank you.
I love that. Awesome. And I saw a question in the comments. Colleen, can you clarify your question? What was that referring to? I might have missed when you typed it. So you sent to random people on Facebook, friends of friends. Like, what are you referring to? You can come off mute if you want.
Oh, I was just wondering about her sending the machine. I know people reach out to you, but how does she send to people she doesn't know? I mean,
Oh, I
there's,
see what you're
you
saying.
know,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I
So,
understand
so
that.
what she was saying that people coming back is people that are already in the machine, right? And there's
Right.
different ways that people get in. So one is through your marketing, right? So in our 7-day launch system, if you're posting consistently and you're doing your engagement sandwich, people should be seeing your post and asking you about it. And in our daily methods of operations in the 7-day launch, we also encourage people to personally reach out to at least 5 people and invite them about the
Yeah.
for the business, right? So if you go to the boards app, there is in the message scripts, the first one is actually teaching people how to invite for the drops or invite for the business without sounding super salesy or awkward, right? So we give you a script and you can obviously customize that as well. So you reach out to the people that you're like, I would love to have this person on my team. And then you
Yeah.
would, right? And a lot of people ask, now that you mentioned that, it reminded me of a lot of people ask, what if someone's not looking for the drops and they're just like, they would be a great business partner? What do I send them? You send the exact same link, the machine link. And here's why. Even though the machine link leads them to the product information, you still want to send that link. And the reason is because a smart business person is going to see, oh, this is so easy for me to get customers. So if they go through the same process that they're going to be pitching their people, they're going to be like, oh, this is easy, I can do it. So then they're going to be more willing, right, to join it. And obviously you can invite them to the next level marketing calls on Thursdays as well, and or send any of our replays. But we also have the business overview page in the machine as well. But yeah, so that's how you would build. And then if you feel like, okay, like not a lot of people are asking me about the product and posting, 2 things you can do. Number one, engage more. So instead of engaging 10 a day, do 20 a day, right? Just engage with more people that you want to talk to, that want to see, or that you want them to see your posts. And then number 2 is building more relationships. So if you feel like you don't have like such a small like following on Facebook and half of them are partner co people, I don't know a lot of people, right? There's a lot of, so make an intention to make 5 new friends. You can either do this from your day-to-day, right? Maybe it's, at church, at the grocery store, when you go to the post office, maybe at work, or it could be in a Facebook group if you're doing it online, right? Like making new genuine friends, right? Just constantly expanding your network that way. And one of my favorite part about like utilizing the machine now is I no longer have to really keep track, because let's be honest, if you've been in the business for a year, you've been doing diligently the daily DMOs, you've talked to a lot of people, and you really don't, unless you're super organized like Dr. Pia and you're tracking every single person on your spreadsheet and you have your own CRM, like it's really hard for the average person with a busy schedule that don't have a lot of business background to be able to keep track of all these people. So you're losing out on a lot of opportunity, because some people may say no at the moment, but 3 months later, maybe now they're more interested. So if they're in the machine, they're constantly getting marketed to, and they're also constantly seeing your posts. So that's why Pam is saying she's having people come back to her 3 months later saying, oh, I'm ready to buy. And here, a lot of times we're like, oh, I totally forgot to follow up with you because there's so many people that I've talked to, right? So it really allows scalability. And that's my favorite part, because the old way of building the business, you can only you can only bring, like, you pack your full car, you can only bring 4 prospects with you at a time, and you spent 5 hours, right? And nobody has that time anymore, right? So hope that makes sense. Let's see. Okay, I also see, I think Jim had a question about an org chart. Yeah, we can definitely get that to you, Jim. Remind me, like maybe message me on Facebook or if you're connected with James, like whoever, and then we can get that information to you. Great question. And we're actually just got off the phone today with our executives. So Katie Holt Larson is our Chief Impact Officer. John Wadsworth is one of our founders and owner. He's the Chief Brand Partner Officer, but he's had like 25 years of experience in the same company, top leader. He's one of our owners, and we were just masterminding and brainstorming on a video resource that they're going to make for us to bridge that gap. So Jim, you're exactly on the right track because that's the video they're actually making. So, but we do have other videos that we can share with you as well. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any of the questions. And then going back to, I think Jim, you had a question about Ultimate, and this is actually a really good question because I'll share with you where it is, so then you can take a look. And going back to our onboarding. Okay, so I'm not sure if you've been onboarded, but in the onboarding section, when you're in the 7-day launch plan, okay, if you scroll all the way to day 7 at the very bottom, there is a section where we talk about how to achieve 10 and 2 and 6 figures in 6 months. And then in the Warrior Movement Facebook group, this is our brand partner only Facebook group. And this is the group where we celebrate everyone's success. We post announcements and we have some important information pinned on the very top here as well. So one of the things that you can achieve, it's really slow. Sorry, my computer is like having so many things, but I'll just cover it. So there's 2 ways you can achieve it. One is getting 1,500. There's something called, oh, I think it's working. So it's this one. So when you click on the Map to Manager, Road to PXP, there is a flyer that talks about Ultimate in a Power Start. So it's this one right here that says Power Start, and it tells you how many PV you need to get to Ultimate in your first 4 Fridays. And if you miss that, don't worry, you can still unlock the entire compensation plan, get to Ultimate by achieving Manager. And this flyer right here will show you how to achieve Manager. Every Monday, we also have a Manager Monday call that goes over some of the strategies here as well. But if you follow the 7-day launch system, it should get you really, really close there. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, but just go through the onboarding and then 7 days. The goal is to get you very close to Ultimate, and we can wrap that up together. Hope that helps. And lastly, with the last minute I have, I'm taking every single minute, is we have some really fun calls. Like I mentioned, every Wednesday and Thursday, we do a prospecting call. And now actually recently, since Dr. Lorette has joined our organization, she and Dr. Jody are leading another Wellness 360 Live on Mondays. So there's so many opportunities for you guys. Like, again, this is not mandatory. It's just opportunity for you to plug your people in, right? So if you have some hot prospects that are like, that topic is really going to resonate with them, make sure that you do that, right? So thank you, Dr. Lorette, for dropping that in the chat. So she also, we also post those in through the machine as well. So like the replay as well. And we've just heard such amazing feedback. Thank you for your leadership on that. But this Wednesday, so tomorrow evening, due to popular demand, I got this question like 3 times last week of what are you taking as an expecting mother? Okay, so I'm actually going to be going over some of the so drops obviously is not for pregnant women, but I did use drops before to prepare my body. So we're going to talk about what products to use before, during, and I don't know about after because I'm still pregnant, so I haven't gotten there, but we'll go over that tomorrow. So if you have people that you think might be interested in that topic, join us tomorrow live. And then Thursday is the big one. We got our CEO Darren Zobrist. That's going to be our special guest that talks about our company. Last week we had John Wadsworth, who's the other owner. And so if you want to just get a feel of how special they are and how special these people are and how truly unique this opportunity is, definitely bring your prospect there. These flyers are in Wellness 360 pinned in the featured section, so you can tag your prospect in there. We also post them in our Telegram chat to remind you, and then we also send them out in our machine as well for everybody that opted in. So Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for being here. I so appreciate your time. You guys got something out of it. Feel free to mute yourself and say good night.
Thank you. Good night, Becky. Thank you.
Okay, Becky, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Very good.
Thank you, Becky. You were
Thanks,
fantastic.
Thanks, Ice, too.
Thank you, Pam.
Bye,
Have
Becky.
a
Good
great
night,
night,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a blessed evening.
night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.